ever since the day I started. Oh, if you ever have any problems, come to. I want to make sure everything's good with you. But then when I do that, then all of a sudden I'm gruntled, I'm angry, I'm bitching, complaining, that type of thing. So, and I just told him, I said, well, bottom line, I said when I first started here, I felt valued as an employee, and I don't have that anymore. So then, as I call it, got to wrap up in a bow, as I call it. I'm just like, well, right now, I probably would, right now it's probably not a good time. You probably should not apply for any more positions within the company. And we'll say that today, that Friday will be your last day. And we'll give you severance, your unemployment, and, we'll have your vacation time, and, we'll get a severance package for you, going for you and all that type of thing.
What was this person? Okay, who was this person you were talking to? An HR person?
No, this is my boss.
Your boss. And is your boss a male or female?
Yeah. He's male.
Is he Caucasian?
Yes.
Okay. And how old is he?
Probably in his mid-30s.
Mid-30s, you said?
Right.
Okay.
I think he's maybe like 36, something like that.
Okay. Continue. Go ahead.
He was like, well, we're just going to make for last day, and, we'll consider it a layoff. It won't be a termination. So, we'll get we'll get a severance package going for you, and, we'll, give you your recommendation.
Oh, my God. It dropped again. I swear to God, this thing sucks. We're going to have to get a different thing to do here. Hold on. Sorry. Let me see if I can fix this. I don't know. This is driving me crazy. This is a piece of shit. I hate Skype. It used to work great, but now it sucks. Let's try again. I'm going to really have to edit this show. If anybody's listening live, which no one's probably listening live anyway, but I'm sorry, this is horrible. Hello?
Hello?
God, you still sound like shit,
I don't know what's
man.
going on.
You still sound like shit. You can hear me clearly or not?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, you're just like fucking. I can't understand anything you're saying, which means nobody else can either. It's driving me crazy because I can catch.
On.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me try something.
All right. So while he's doing that, I'll talk about what can I talk about while he's doing that. Let's see. So while Jason's trying to fix this, we will discuss the D Train. I saw this movie, The D Train, over the weekend. I watched it on Netflix or something. And it has James Marsden in it and Jack Black or whatever. And it's pretty interesting, pretty good, whatever. But there is this scene, and they're supposed to both be straight. Well, one of them's bi, basically. James Marsden's bi. And the other one is straight and married. Anyway, they end up having sex, like full-on anal sex. And it's a really good movie. And not because of that, but it was just funny because, anyway, it's funny. But anyway, you should watch the movie. It's really funny. But it's about a guy who's kind of a nobody and kind of a loser, and he's trying to be somebody by hitting up this guy who's this kind of, he thinks is a famous movie star, but really he's not. And anyway, it's really good. Check it out. Also, I don't know if you knew, but did you know that when you buy eggs, farms, even the farms that are like, considered to be humane or whatever, they usually don't grow their own eggs or own chicks. They usually buy them from a provider who are teenage chicks or whatever. And those chicks that they get are, of course, female, and that's the only ones that make eggs. Well, so what happens to the male chicks? Well, the male chicks get cold, as they're called. They get killed. So as soon as they find out they're male, they kill them. And so basically, it's horrible. I think it's a horrible thing. It's totally anti-humane, in my opinion. And so every time you eat an egg, think about a baby male chick being killed and murdered. Just so you know. I still eat eggs. I eat Vital Farms eggs, really good. Are you there, Jason, by the way? You done? Hello? Jason?
I'm here.
Oh, I've been waiting for you. I'm just fucking talking about nothing. So speak.
No, but I don't know. My connections. I don't know if the connection's going in and out or what.
You sound good
so.
now. You sound good now. What'd you do?
Okay.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I was gonna do it on my phone, but
you sound fine now. Okay, continue. So he tells you he's gonna give you severance package and all that stuff.
Right, so he's going to give me a severance package and all that, and, he was going to lay me off and that type of thing. But I was like, well, the only thing you can do is lay me off because I really didn't break any violations within the company. So, it's gonna have to be a layoff. So pretty much bottom line, because I expressed my opinion, he pretty much laid me off.
Well, wait a minute though. I mean, the thing is, Texas is an at-will state or whatever it's called, and so you can fire somebody for whatever reason you want as long as it's not illegal. But he has to have some cause to fire. I mean, actually, he doesn't have to have cause. But I'm just saying he didn't give you any real reason other than the fact that you expressed the fact that you weren't happy that you'd applied for 8 different jobs and no one wants to even hire you.
He pretty much said the reason that they're going to be they'll just consider it as a reduction in workforce or a reduction in force or some shit like that.
Yeah, but why did he? But when you went in there, that was not even on the table.
Right, I know. I think he just. But here's what happened. When I spoke with another person, they said what you did was, because I didn't tell everyone. I only told specific people that I trust because I didn't want to get out all over the place.
Yeah.
But they said what happened was you confronted them about how they were doing things within the company. You hit the nail on the head. He got uncomfortable and he pulled that, and he did that as retaliation because he felt uncomfortable.
Well, duh. I mean, I know that. I know that's what happened.
And then he was just like, and then he just kept saying, "Well, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way." I'm like, well, you're a white person in corporate America. Of course, you don't see it that way. So, because my thing is, and I feel like
the people who both got promoted, were they both Caucasian?
Yes.
They were both Caucasian. Okay.
Yes, and then meanwhile, the African Americans who are there have been promoted. Not a single African American has been promoted. There was another guy who worked in a separate department who's black who applied for another position. He didn't even get an interview.
You're going to have to tell me when we're off the air what company you worked for, because I got to know who this was.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
So he didn't even get a promotion. And like my thing is, here's my thing. For this particular company, I feel like if you're not white or Indian, they don't want you working there. This is a huge corporation, and they're literally, but on all 15 floors combined, there may be less than 20 black people working there.
Wow. Is it a tech company?
No.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, other than they're just a fucking racist company, which is possible, which is probably probable too, but.
What's possible because they support the NRA.
Oh, they're that kind of company. They're right-wingers then. They're right-wingers. Yeah. So that's what you get, that kind of place. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I was like, all right. So normally I go in around 9 a.m. I'm pretty sure by noon I'll be out of there because my exit interview is at 11 a.m. and always in an exit interview.
They walk you out.
Yeah, they'll walk you out. So I'm pretty sure by noon I'll be out the door, which is fine. I can enjoy my Friday.
But that would piss me off. I
wasn't pissed off. Actually, when he did it, in my mind, when he said, we're just gonna go ahead and make Friday your last day, I was just like, thank God it's over.
That's what you said in your text. I was like, at first I was like, oh my God, and then you were like, oh, I read your other part of your text and it said you were happy about it. I was like, oh, okay.
But I mean, it was just a long time coming because I just feel like I've been treated unfairly within that company for the past few months. And yet they're promoting people who don't have the experience. They don't have anything. It's pretty much they're being promoted because they know people. It's not because they really have the experience.
Yeah.
So, and then otherwise the few black people that's there have applied for positions. They don't get anywhere. I mean, and it's not like I know not every single black person that works there, but I mean, the circle is extremely small. So, I mean, you get to know all of them in some form or fashion in the workplace. So, but I mean, it's people who've been there longer than I have applied for positions. They was like, oh yeah, I applied for this position. No, I didn't get it either. I didn't even get an interview.
Yeah, people who were Caucasian and were barely there long enough and weren't even necessarily qualified got promoted to those positions.
Right, exactly.
That's illegal. That's illegal. I know that it's hard to prove it, but that's illegal. Go ahead.
Right, and so the thing was, I've been there 2 years. They promoted this woman to this position, and she's been there 8 months.
Wow.
8 months into the job, she already has a promotion.
Wow.
I've been there 2 years, applied for 8 fucking jobs within this corporation.
So do you just suck at your job? Do you suck at your job, or do you do a good job?
Well, I do a good job. I've been there 2 years because clearly, if I was doing a good job, they would have fired me based on, my production.
No, I'm just saying
value.
in your mind, you do a good job, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're not somebody just goes in there and just does the bare minimum just to get by. You do a good job. So I'm saying that if that's the case, and they promoted these people in front of you who just based on their skin color, basically, then that's racism, and that's protected by the fucking Constitution, equal opportunity employment, whatever it's called, clause.
The EEOC,
yes.
the equal
employment opportunity clause, or whatever it's called.
Right.
But yeah, so you need to. You don't need to. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying if I were in your position, I would be a little fishy about that. I would feel a little fishy. I'd be like, even if you don't give a fuck and you don't care anymore, you don't want to work there, that's fine. But the fact that they did that, I would raise some fucking hell about it legally, because I'm like, you've got proof that these people have been promoted over not only you, but several other black people who have also applied for these positions and been denied and declined. People who are more qualified and been there longer than these people. And these two people got promoted. The only difference is that they're Caucasian. So that is pretty good evidence, damning evidence, that they are doing this based on race. And at the very least, you could get some kind of fucking settlement. I'm not kidding you, because that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, I don't even know. I've never experienced this before. This is new to me as far as like from a corporate standpoint. So I wouldn't even know where to begin or where to go to get.
You call it a lawyer is what you do. You call a lawyer. Say, you need to sue somebody on contingency, basically, meaning that they only get paid if they win. And say, I want to sue them because I think I've been discriminated against, and not just me. And you can have a fucking class action lawsuit. You can get people from that fucking company. No one's going to do it if they're already fired or it's still working there probably. But I'm saying you got the people at that company that backs you up and says that, yeah, they've applied for this position and I wasn't promoted, and these other two people were, and the only difference is they're white, then that's fucking racism. And I would not even say that. I didn't even think of that racism until you told me that, one, the way he reacted and said everything, and there was really no reason or cause to fire you, other than the fact that you called him out on something he didn't like, and the fact that you are qualified for most of the positions you applied for, right? Yes?
Right.
And you've been there a long time or long enough, and you've actually got a college degree and everything else, even though it's not necessarily in everything that you were applying for. And these other two people don't have a college degree, and they don't necessarily have the experience, and they haven't been there very long. And the only difference is
the guy that went down to finance, he does have a degree, but he didn't have any experience, but they promoted him anyway. Now, the lady, she doesn't have neither, and she got promoted.
Okay.
So I feel like they were just promoting people based on whether if they like you or not versus.
Well, if they are NRA type company, they only like you if you're white, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I guess they just have black people up in there as affirmative action or something.
They're called tokens. Yeah, they're token black people. Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, there was a black lady who used to work there. She worked on like a few months, and I think she got fired, but she was there, and she said that she worked in finance. They hired her as like a tax accountant or something like that. Excuse me. And when she got hired on this, she was just like, people kind of just really don't speak to me around here, and they just kind of give me the cold shoulder, and that type of thing. And then at first I was like, girl, stop. That's just all in your head. You don't know what you're talking about, that type of thing. And then within a few months, I was like, oh, what happened to, we'll just say Janet. I said, oh, what happened to Janet that, worked in here? Oh, they let her go. I was like, for what? And then when they told me the reason, I think the reason was because she was like they said that her productivity wasn't good or something like that. I was like, that's just a bullshit reason for HR to put on the paperwork, like, oh, she wasn't productive and she wasn't catching on, so we're doing this. And later when I called her afterwards, she was like, I've been a tax accountant for like 22 years. So I know what I'm doing when I do this type of work.
Right.
So for them to say that my productivity was low and say that I didn't know what I was doing, she's like, that's a bunch of BS. So they pretty much fired her.
Well, that sounds to me like great. Yes. Are you done with your story? Because I want to tell you a story that's similar to yours real quick.
Yes, I'm done.
I'm sorry that happened to you, but before we move on to that, I want to ask you, what are you planning to do now? Are you going to look for another job somewhere else, or?
I'm going to go to Disney World. No, I'm probably just going to just take some time off. Okay. I mean, they're giving me a severance package, and I qualify for unemployment. They said they can give me unemployment and a letter of recommendation, all that. I'm not just going to just take it easy. Just take a break.
Mm-hmm. You need to still looking for a job while you're on a break, though.
Well, no, I am, and that's what I have been doing. But I at least for the first month, I'm going to kind of take it easy.
Okay. Well, that's good. Good for you.
So the only thing about this, if I knew this shit was going to happen, I was like, well, fuck, I could have stayed in Chicago longer if I knew this was going to happen.
You could have moved your ass there if you wanted to.
Right, exactly.
Well, what I was going to say is that talking about companies like that that are kind of like ultra conservative. You know, when I was 25, or I was in 2005 or something like that, and before I started doing interior design, architecture, and all that stuff in 2005, I had my own company doing marketing, web design development, and graphic design stuff like that. And I had that for like 5 years before that. Anyway, so I was hired to work for a company in Dallas called Transwestern. I'm telling you their name because they're fucking assholes.
Oh, I've
And
heard of them.
yeah, they're actually a commercial real estate company here. They're huge all over the country, all over the world actually. But anyway, their office is here. And I was actually called. Somebody called me because I had a resume that had been out there from years before, and I'd interviewed this place called CB Richard Ellis years before. To do their marketing, be their marketing person or whatever. And I didn't get the job, but this guy apparently recommended me to the CEO or the local CEO of Transwestern. And I didn't have any idea or anything. I had my own business and stuff. I wasn't interested. But they called me in for an interview. I met with them. When I went into the lobby, of course, it's a gorgeous, huge, nice office. Way up high in the Galleria Towers, and not the Galleria Towers, it's the Providence Towers on in Addison. Anyway, and they had Fox on in the fucking lobby, and everybody was dressed very conservatively and everything else. I was like, why the fuck did they call me? I was wearing my Dolce & Gabbana shoe. I was like looking like very like I did not fit in there, and so had their big ass wide ties on and shit. Those people. So he calls me. His secretary gets me, and I goes in. There's this older guy, very conservative older guy, and he talks to me. He said, "So are you married?" I was like, what was this? I was married. It's like, oh no. It's like, no. He's like, okay. And you're not supposed to ask that question. Actually, it's illegal to ask that question if you're married. Your marital status is not supposed to be something utilized in an interview for that.
Really? I didn't even know that.
No. Sexual orientation in some states. I don't know if Texas is one of them anymore, but sex or gender or marital status or race or anything like that. Anyway, so so we talked, whatever, and then I was like, okay, bye, whatever. I left, and I just did the courtesy because the guy gave me his name, and I was like, whatever. Then they called me and they wanted me to start the job, and they said that we want you to do it on a contract basis. I was like, okay, fine, that's fine. I already have a business, whatever. I said to be their contractor for them, and kind of get their marketing department back in order and ship shape because the person they had before they'd gone through like 6 people before me, like over the past 3 years or whatever. So that was obviously a bad sign. And so I was like, okay. And so I went in there to the job and the first day and everything. And I don't know. I did my job, whatever. I set up the department, whatever. But the whole time I was there, I was only there for like 4 months, 5 months, whatever. And the whole time I was there, this company, no one really talked to me very much. I was like the only one there. There was not one other gay person in the whole fucking company. Not one gay person. There was no one of color except that one accountant in the accounting department. She was real, and I saw her when we had the Christmas party, whatever. Anyway, so me and this woman Joyce I worked with, who was she was my assistant, but she worked with me, whatever, in my department, and this other guy who worked with me in the department. They had a Christmas party, and we had to choose whose booth was best. Everybody made these booths, like their own for the accounting department and the sales department, whatever. And so
those cheesy type of Christmas contests.
Exactly. And we had booze and alcohol, of course, and everything that was nice. But anyway, and so so they made us the office manager, who was buddy with the CEO, made us choose who was going to be the winners. And so we went through all the booths and everything, and there were some good booths and whatever. And one of the booths we went through was the accounting booth. And the accounting booth, they handed out Jell-O shots, and they were all really into it, and having fun, and they had interactive games and stuff. So we all liked theirs the best, and I liked theirs the best, even though there were other ones that were more elaborate. And so when at the end, she said, well, okay, we got to find out who won. Donovan, who's the winner? And she said, as we talked about it, and we said, accounting. She said, accounting. They go, accounting. I mean, they were just like all fucking pissed off. And these people took it so fucking seriously. But anyway, all this time, I heard these fucking jokes all the time about Obama. Obama's a fucking, Obama's this, Obama's that coming up, whatever. And I was like, was this 2005 or 2008? I can't remember what it was. Anyway, it was a long time ago. I was like, they were talking about Obama. And one guy, I heard him saying, how do I say this? An Obama joke, but an N-word joke, about Obama. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then one lady across the hall from my office said something about a faggot this or faggot that, and homosexuals and going to hell and bullshit. And you know how that went over. So I'm like, excuse me, I'm gay. like that. And nobody knew I was gay. I don't know how they didn't know I was gay, but they did not know I was gay. And I was like, I'm gay, and I don't appreciate you talking about
like Karen Walker said, what were they, headless?
Right, exactly. Thank you. I was like, why are you talking? I was like, don't use that word around me in my presence. I don't appreciate it, whatever. And this woman got so pissed off, whatever. And then this woman turns out to be the daughter of the office manager. And the office manager had been there for like 30 years anyway. And so they were going to renew my contract. It was all ready to go and everything. And they're paying me $100,000, equivalent to $100,000 a year, by the way. I was making a really good salary. And I was like, okay, it's worth it, but the longer I was there, my soul just got crushed because the people are just always about fucking how much they hate, liberals and shit like that, NRA shit, whatever. And so I was like, I don't know if I could do this. So finally the day comes where it's to renew my contract, and she calls me and she says, well, Donovan, I'm going to be honest with you. It's between you and one other person. I go, what the fuck are you talking about? What other person? And she's like, well, I said, you know my work. You know what work I do. You know what I've done with this department. You know what I've done for you already. Why do you need to find someone else for the position? Well, we really just think that we need to fill the position with someone else. And I was like, why? And she never gave me a fucking reason. So anyway, they wanted me to renew my contract for 2 more weeks so they could get the next person in there if they wanted to find somebody else. And I said, no, fuck that. And I left, and that was it. But the point of the story is that the whole time I was there, it was constant, like, anti-gay stuff, anti-black stuff, anti-Mexican stuff, people stuff, anybody who wasn't white. It was constant. And to be in that kind of environment and actually try to do your work, and it's just like soul crushing, And so yours was not overt like that, apparently, but it's subtle, and it's the same fucking thing. So just because they're not like coming out and saying nigger jokes or faggot jokes or whatever, or kike jokes or whatever you call them, and to your face, doesn't mean that they're not just as fucking racist as those people were. So I'm just saying that it's probably best that you leave there now and that you find a place where you fit in better and people will actually give you a fucking chance that you deserve,
I agree. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great. You sound great.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I think it's a good thing that you left or whatever, and I think it's going to work out for the best. And so you're just going to move on to your next chapter, and it's going to be better than the first. So good for you.
Yes, I am. Things are going to be wonderful here. They're going to look back, and I'm going to be like, who was that? Who did I used to work for? Who? I don't remember. I don't even remember those hoes.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty much my story. Oh, so moving. Well, I don't know if you want to move on to current events type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm sure you heard about the former NFL player Aaron Hernandez.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay. I was kind of shocked the other day when he hung himself in his jail cell.
Why?
I guess I don't know. I guess he committed suicide.
He already killed He already killed one person, so killing himself's not that big a deal, probably. But anyway, that's horrible. But still, that's how I feel.
So yeah, but he committed suicide, and I was like,
didn't he kill some woman?
I'm like, that's kind of sad.
No, he killed some guy. He got in an argument or something.
He killed someone. I don't remember if it was
a guy.
Girlfriend.
No, it was his girlfriend's
or fiance.
It was somebody's brother or something. He got in a fight or something like that. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But oh well. Sorry. I mean, whatever. I'm not a sports guy, so it's kind of like moot to me what happens to them.
I mean, well, I'm not either.
Yeah. Well, okay. I wanted to talk about the United Airlines thing. Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, what happened with them?
I'm going to have to edit the shit out of the show.
Thank you.
Okay, United Airlines. You know about the United Airlines, the guy getting dragged off the plane? Hello? Hello?
Yes. I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Sorry. This is horrible. I can't believe how fucking bad this show has been. I mean, like, it's so bad. What? Hello?
I can hear you just fine.
Now you're like all like, sound like you're like in a fucking like Alice in Wonderland movie or some shit. You're like, it sounds crazy. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I don't.
It's fucked up. This is one of those fucked up shows. I'm literally gonna, as soon as the show's over, I'm gonna edit the fuck out of this so I can make it sound decent and repost it because this is horrible. No. So did you hear about the United Airlines thing? You did hear about it then.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So what did you think about that whole thing?
I thought it was pretty fucked up because here's the thing. This came out like the day before I had flown to Chicago and I had booked my ticket with United. So
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. But then here's what I don't understand about United, or either just airlines in general. I don't understand how they purposely overbook flights, and then when people actually show up and you have to put people off, the way they did that, try to kick 4 people off so that 4 of their employees can get to another leg of the trip so they can get going.
Yeah.
They should have planned that out better. They should have planned that out better. Now,
well, it's for their employees. They were trying to get their employees,
right.
which fuck the employees. Employees should be second to the fucking customers.
Right. So then that was my thing. Now, I heard at one point they were offering compensation like $800 and a free round trip ticket.
They were.
Now, me being the type of person that I am, if you offered me compensation like that, I would have jumped up and broke my neck trying to get off that plane.
Yeah, but the problem is that but they it was the last flight out. They would have had to stay in a hotel and then get the next flight out in the morning, and they would have been inconvenienced by the whole thing. So a lot of people just wanted to get the fuck home, especially when it's late like that. So that's probably part of the reason they didn't.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, me personally, I would have been okay with. That's like, if you pay for my hotel, well, yeah, if they're going to automatically put you up in a hotel. I'm like, if I can get first class going back to where I'm going and get my $800 and my free round trip ticket, that'd be great.
That's not what they're offering. They're offering just a ticket, not a first class one.
So so that's the thing with that. But here's my whole thing that confuses me more than anything. Who was the guy that actually pulled him out the seat? Because he wasn't dressed in a cop uniform. Was he like an undercover cop? I mean, what was he?
He was. I don't think. No, they weren't cops. They were just like security people. I thought they were that the airline had there. I don't think they were actual police people. I don't think. No.
And they pulled him out that seat and dragged him down the aisle. I said, you know what? Play that role, because I would have done the same thing. I said, you know what? He said, because before he even did, he said, y'all could drag me off the plane. That's exactly what he did. He didn't try to get up and walk. He didn't try to do anything. I said, get that money, boo boo. Get that money.
His lawyer says he stands to make at least a few $1 million from this.
I don't blame him. And look, they would have dragged me all through the airport. They would have dragged me all through the terminal. I would have complained I couldn't walk. I would have been for each inch that they dragged me, it would have been another 0 added on to the end. I'm like, can you walk? Nope, I can't. Y'all got to drag me again. So I would have been like that. I said, you know what, Dr. Dow, you did that. Congratulate. You ain't even got one yet, but congratulations to you, boo boo. You played that part.
Yeah, I just think it was ridiculous, yeah. I mean, the fact that they bumped these people. The thing is, these people were already on the fucking plane. They were already on the plane, and they overbooked the plane, as almost all airlines do. And then they get pissed off because they can't fly their crew home or back to some other gate, and that's not their fucking problem. They should, I don't know, go rent them some fucking little prop plane or some shit, get them there. It's not our fucking problem, you know?
A twin-seater plane?
Yes. I mean, it's not our fucking problem that you fucking overbooked. That's your fucking problem. So they need, and also, beyond that, United Airlines also, a week later, a guy got kicked off the plane who was going to his honeymoon, because I can't remember the reason why, but it was something stupid. And then before that, somebody else got punched on the plane or something by a flight attendant once. I mean, this airline's like so ghetto. It's like, oh my God, it's like ghetto in the sky there. So I mean,
they're worse than, they're starting to become worse than Spirit Airlines,
it's like
and they're pretty bad.
It's like fucking Fight Club or some shit, you know, on the fucking plane. But anyway, yeah. So I've never even flown United Airlines. I don't ever plan to now, especially. But they lost like a ton of a huge drop in their stock, you know, that day after that happened, and it was released and everything, which they should. And I fuck those motherfuckers.
Oh no, well I believe it, because actually they came around, and actually when I booked my ticket, I got my ticket round trip for $90, and I thought that was a steal. If I would have waited probably a day or two, I would have got it for, you know, $25 round trip. I don't know, but you know, I mean, it sucks that happened to him, but I wish it would have been me.
Well,
You dragged me off the plane, and
that's what I said. I was like, "Ooh, if I'd known now, I was like, I'm not going anywhere, motherfucker. Come drag me off the fucking plane. Fuck you." And so they'd come drag me off the plane, and then I get my $2 million. Yes.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, but anyway, it's sad. But as far as airlines go, I mean, I've never flown them, but I usually fly American Airlines. I've flown Delta. Delta's been a really good experience. I had the one time I flew Delta.
Delta's expensive though.
They weren't really expensive. I mean, it depends. Tickets
now they're expensive. The only people that I've flown.
American Airlines is more expensive than Delta.
Well, I've flown with Delta. Delta, I've always had a good experience, even though I think their tickets are a little pricey. Southwest, because that's just like the budget airline. We're just trying to get from point A to point B. Back in the day when AirTran was around, I used to fly with them all the time because they were pretty good. And American. People tell me about Spirit Airlines, and I'm like, you get some really cheap rates on Spirit, but I'm just
like
too
being
afraid.
It's like being in a fucking tin can. I'm told. I've never flown them, but my God, no. And I'm like a first class guy. I mean, I'm not trying to say that to brag. I'm not saying it's a surprise to you that I am, but I'm like a first class kind of guy.
Oh, really?
And so I mean, it's really not that expensive if you book well ahead of time to buy a first class ticket over another kind of ticket. Like to go from here, Dallas, to like I don't know, L.A. is only like $600 for a first class ticket. It's not bad. So round trip. So it's not bad. But anyway, I always do that. So
well, I'm poor. I'm not like you. I'm poor.
I'm just saying that to me, I would never ever want to fly on like some fucking tin can. To me, it's time about everything, not just airlines. I want the best of everything. If I can afford to buy the best of something, I will buy it because I do not like to be uncomfortable. I like comfortable.
You know what Spirit Airline reminds me of, and I think I've said this before. It reminds me of that movie Soul Plane. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
You ever seen it where they have like the first class and it's really fine? It's like really first class. It's very just divine and very lavish. And then you go in the back and they holding on to like subway handles and
yes.
And they passing around fried chicken as like a appetizer, and they had to put their stuff in a locker and stuff like that and drop a coin in it. Yeah, that type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but my flight was great. I didn't get snatched up. I did want to go on Facebook and I told a joke and I was like, well, I'm about to board this flight to Dallas with United and I know they have a reputation of snatching people up out of their seats.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I was like, y'all pray for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Anyway, okay. Well, I just wanted to see what happened with you and everything. I'm glad everything's going to be working out for you okay with your job. And hope that everything is going to move forward in the right direction for you in the future. So good luck with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Donovan.
You're welcome. And what time is it? So we'll be back next week, guys. I'm sorry about this fucking show. I'm going to edit the show as soon as we're done and check out all the bullshit that happened. And the first part of the show sucks because you can barely understand you, but I'll try to make it work. And if you want to find out more about us, as we said, go to gayxyz.com. You can go to offlimitshow.com, and you can also find us on Twitter and Facebook and on iTunes and iHeartRadio. So be sure to find us and follow us, and we appreciate you listening. And we promise next time the show will be much better. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Yes, sorry, people. This is what happens when you listen to a live show.
That's the thing I want to say before we go. We do this show live. Very few podcasters do their shows live. Most podcasters do their shows recorded so they can.
Oh, I know.
And yeah, I mean, unless you're like on Sirius XM or something, most people don't do their podcast live. And so I've always done my podcast, The Off Limits Show, live, and this show has always been live as well. And I just think it adds some, it's more interesting, I think, to have it live. And fucking shit goes wrong, yes. And sometimes they're great, sometimes they're bad, but they are what they are, people. So we hope you like them. And we'll be back next week. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend. Good night.
Good night. Stay gay, and sorry for the inconvenience.